All right, guys, we're live. You want to say anything before we get into it?
Anything.
Anything. It's raining Scruffy.
That's original.
All but right. it's necessary.
All right, we'll just get into it.
Are you not a fan
of
raining Scruffy anymore?
On with the show.
Time for bladder check. Check.
Check.
Check. Wait. Screw it. I'm holding it.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men.
Podcasting, the final audio frontier. These are the legends of Brown Squadron.
Our computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
The ongoing mission? To explore the Star Wars universe and other nerd culture topics. To seek new content and new cantinas, bars, and lounges. To boldly annoy Scruffy by making too many bad jokes. Welcome to the Hyperspace Heroes Podcast.
Oh, guys, you got to tell me to take that off the screen.
Hey, take it off the screen. Nobody can see me.
No.
This is what they want to see.
All right. We don't need dad joke of the week. We got that garbage.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Were you afraid of this?
All right. Welcome to Hyperspace Heroes. This is Brown Leader signing in. All wings report in.
Brown 2 signing in.
Brown 4 ready for Trek Talk.
All right.
Yeah.
We are going to take we're going to take a trek on the wild side tonight. And we've got a guest that we're
any more terrible puns you want to get out of your system?
Oh, it's going to be a pun night. I just can tell. Yeah. So
Brown 4 signing off.
Brown 4, you're this Trek guy.
I'm the Trek guy.
You are the Trek guy.
You are the Trek guy.
Don't put pressure on me tonight.
So we have a special guest on tonight that has been in Trek, and so we've been talking a little bit on the socials, made contact. We wanted to bring him on, and we're gonna have a little bit of Trek talk tonight, but it's gonna expand beyond that because as with everything fandom based, we're gonna probably move from topic to topic and probably touch on a little bit of horror tonight, touch on the wars, obviously. But before we get into it too far, guys, we are just less than 2 weeks away from Skeleton Crew, and they keep dropping trailers.
I have resisted everything except for the original trailer that came out. I've resisted everything. However, the one you showed me today with the 80s vibe to it, the retro feel to it, I'm going to have to watch that one.
That one was very cool. DB, they dropped a new one today where it's in square. It's a square format. I didn't send it to you guys because I know you guys have been trying to avoid it. But it's got the screen looks like it's footage from the 80s. It's great. I mean, it's just it's got such a great Goonies vibe to it. It's for sure.
Last night they were showing Solo on one of the cable channels and commercial. It was nothing. The whole thing was nothing more than plugging Skeleton Crew every commercial break. So every time there was a commercial, I had to start a conversation with the Offspring just so I wouldn't pay attention.
The Offspring. The band? You're talking to the band? No, just kidding. And before we introduce our guest, I wanted to give 2 quick birthday shout outs today because it does tie into the topics of the episode today. First one being Alexander Siddig, who I'm sure Droid Bait knows the name.
Dr. Bashir.
And Dr. Bashir on DS9, which is a Trek connection today. And he was also Senator Avi Singh in Bad Batch. So he's one of those crossover stars that has been in both. And then the other birthday wish I wanted to send out is to Brown 39, actually, Shuff, or David Jones, actor friend of ours who's been on the show a couple times. And it is his birthday today as well. So and again, another Trek tie in there. So I wanted to make sure to give those 2 guys shout outs today. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. So our Carbonites, welcome to the show. And new trailer's perfect. Yes, the style really selling the show for sure. And then I think Adelphi Rangers posted up today some close-in shots. The new trailer shows some closer pictures of the X-Wings and that are in the trailers. And it's not Carson's unless he changed to a blue stripe. It's not Carson. So
all right, well, it is what
he's
it
going to
is.
be in it. I know he's going to be in it. Carson's in.
Keep holding on to that hope.
He will be. I saw that micro expression he had when I threw that out there when we had him on. I saw it. I saw that quick cover up. You can't fool me.
Hey, for the record, the Carson Tiva helmet's on sale on Amazon for Black Friday today.
I saw that.
I mean, it's not as cool as yours because it's signed, but
I know mine is signed. But okay. So tonight we have Mr. Actor. Yeah, he's just sitting behind the scenes right now, going, "What did I get myself?"
He's still sitting behind the scenes.
Yeah,
he's thinking, I can still get out of here.
I'm gonna click on the button. Nothing's gonna happen. No, we have actor, filmmaker, and podcaster, Mr. Michael Chan tonight. He was in the last several seasons of Star Trek Discovery as the Federation's at headquarters. He was I think the title was Fleet Ops or Ops Officer. I don't know if the character's named. We'll definitely ask him about that tonight. Plus, in our conversation, I learned kind of a behind the scenes name, I guess, that they kind of nicknamed the Discovery on the show, kind of behind the scenes. So I almost called this episode tonight Disco in the Alpha Quadrant. I thought that might be kind of fun, but we're going to talk about that, projects that he's got working going on, and it just kind of meet another fan of, because he's also a Star Wars fan. So there's going to be, like I said earlier, there's going to be a lot of fluid, probably talk going back and forth in terms of conversation about different genres tonight. So buckle up and get ready for the ride, and we're going to bring in Mr. Michael Chan right now. Michael, welcome.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully that kind of was a quick synopsis of what you do, but kind of tell our viewers, and this will go out on audio in a couple days, but our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I am an actor. I've been doing this for just over 18 years now, so it's been a very long ride. I am known mostly for being in popularity papers, where I am one of the leads. I am one of the lead girls' dads. But as you said, I am also in Star Trek Discovery. I'm in 2 episodes in season 4 as the FHQ Ops Officer. My duty is to do comms. And to answer one of the things you said, no, I was not named. Neither the FHQ Ops Officer nor the FHQ Security Officer were named. Neither of us were, but the 2 of us are recurring in season 4, and I don't know why we never got names. But I also, as comms officer, do the announcements on the comm system. So in episode 13, for example, when you hear announcements asking for certain officers or whatever, that's actually my voice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I know you've been doing some voice work. I think there was a trailer that just dropped. You did voice over doctors or something.
Oh, well, okay. That I am in an upcoming series by Sony Fox called Doc, which is about a doctor who gets into a car accident and loses, I think it's 8 to 10 years of her memory. And so a lot has happened in that time, and she now has to navigate the reality of her world while also being allowed to practice again somehow. I play the neurologist in episode 1. That's all I can say so far, but they used my voice, some of my lines in the trailer. So I'm very excited that they did that. I wasn't told that was going to happen, and there it is.
They're plugging the heck out of that show right now too. I keep seeing the ads for that. And doesn't it have Molly Parker from Lost in Space on there too?
Yes, it does.
No, so we got another sci-fi tie-in. That's excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. And she, like I said, she's absolutely amazing actor and just such a wonderful person on set to hang with. but yeah, that was a great experience working with her. But I'm not going to say much more about it.
Yeah, nope. That's
Don't
fine.
get yourself in trouble.
yeah.
But yeah, no, Doc comes out in early 2025, as far as I know. So yeah, just watch for Doc.
Yeah, I am excited to see that one too.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It looked really awesome.
So I wanted to bring up for our viewers real quick picture of you picture of you in Star Trek Discovery, so that people can get a visual of you in and we won't get into what too far into what Discovery's about, but yeah, you guys are in the future Federation, correct?
That is correct. So 32nd century.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's quite the jump.
I love those uniforms. Those uniforms are awesome.
The uniforms are I love them. I absolutely love them. It's a 2-piece, thankfully, so it's not one of those jumpsuits.
not the uniform.
Not like stupid tight. Especially since they made me jog in that episode. Like I'm running on. We have transporters in our comm badges. We can just tap it and go anywhere. But for some reason, I'm running on the bridge, and I always joke. I'm like, it's my cardio. I do this all day long. I'm like, I need cardio. That's how we officers, stay fit. And whenever we have important information to give, we don't teleport. We jog,
run.
Yeah, or use the communicator. You jog, right?
Yeah. So did you get
the uniform? And you don't get to see that a lot.
Yeah,
like a tracking, like following shot of an officer running on a bridge. I loved it. It was a lot of fun.
Did you get to keep the uniform?
Unfortunately, no. The only stuff I got to keep were gifts from cast. Otherwise, yeah, they wouldn't let me keep anything, not even my badge, and they have like 1 million of those.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's not right.
So I know on a lot of your social, you do a lot of social, very funny stuff, by the way, and a lot of Trek oriented social stuff. And so we wanted to kind of the first official question we like to ask our guests is, what does Star Trek mean to you? Since it seems to be a big influence on you.
It is. So so I'll start where I began with the show, which is my mom. So my parents came to Canada in the 70s, and sci-fi was what my parents really got into in terms of North American media, especially my mom, who fell in love with Star Trek and Doctor Who. And she really loved William Shatner. She thought he was like super hot. Loved Captain Kirk. So like
so does Scruffy, by the way.
Hey, Kirk's the man. I will not deny that.
But yeah, like baby Michael, it was just next to her watching, or at least digesting and not understanding Star Trek. But that's literally that, and Doctor Who are my first introduction to North American media and to sci-fi. So I've been a Star Trek fan since as far as I can remember. And mind you, I wasn't drawn to Kirk. I was drawn to Sulu and to Spock. And oddly enough, I as a toddler, I thought Spock was Chinese as well. I mean, Leonard Nimoy's eyes are small, so I was like, "Oh, look, these two guys look like me." I love that. But as I grew, TNG is like my Trek, right? Like, because Next Generation is by the point where I could understand stuff and really process what I was watching. It was TNG. And for me, it was a positive message about what this world could be, and the importance of having proper diplomacy, but not just diplomacy, but how we problem solve. Rarely have to actually get into violence. Violence only happens when it's absolutely necessary, but every chance is made to actually deal with things by talking and understanding each other and having empathy and compassion. And there are other aspects of that world that I appreciate, like everyone's accepted. The diversity has always been there since the original series, and that was big for me too. And especially in the world I grew up in. I know I'm Canadian, and a lot of people think, like Canada is like a magical land of acceptance and love and unicorns and living in igloos, but racism is a big part of my life. Well, like, yeah, no, the white people came and knocked down my igloo. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
But no, like, I have had to deal with racism since I was quite young. It's a thing that was very difficult for me, especially since my family moved around a bit, mostly because my dad kind of had a really good sense of where the Chinese community would probably end up. So he moved before anyone else. And so we would end up in usually very white neighborhoods. And but once we hit Richmond Hill, which was a farm town turned into a city. It used to be a town. It's now actually officially a city. We were called the Asian invasion. And yeah, Asian kids were all of us, not just the Chinese, but they couldn't tell the difference. So, the Chinese, the Koreans, the Japanese, we all got beat up. So yeah, things like this. So for me, watching Star Trek, it's an escape, but also it's like this, I want this future. I want this future. I want this future so bad in our world. I don't even care if it's spaceships. I just like the message that I saw. And that stuck with me. I wanted to be, a Starfleet officer. I wanted all of that. And, becoming an actor is something that came later. I don't know if you've read my bio anywhere, but I started out trying to become a doctor because that's what I thought I was meant to be. I'm pre-med at U of T and got my bachelor's degree in human biology and sociology. I'm a double major before I went into acting. But I would say that Star Trek had a big influence on the way I saw my future too, because one of the things was it's a combination of Star Trek and also my mom, who was sickly, had a heart condition and was in the hospital often. She also had many miscarriages. I'm an only child. If all of the kids were born, there would be 7 of us, but there's only one. And I saw how doctors took care of her. But I also saw faults in our system, like when they told my mom that one of her miscarriages was just due purely because she was shoveling snow. Oh, ma'am, you shouldn't have gone out and done any physical activity. Women should be sitting in bed and just letting the baby. I'm like, as someone who was pre-med, I know that's BS. That's not why the baby was miscarried, but whatever. There's a lot of stuff that as a child, I'm like, well, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a scientist. I want to do all this stuff to help people, like the good doctors, to help my mom. I want to be better than the ones who were not nice to her. And on top of that, I want to be someone that helps the world, just like the people in Star Trek. And
Right
so that was my upbringing, and that is my life growing up. Didn't expect to actually end up in the series, but
Right.
Or to be playing a doctor for Pretend next year, on TV.
Right.
But that's where we are.
Wow, that's an amazing journey.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That is an amazing journey. And go ahead, DB.
Well, the follow-up question we always ask is, tell us about your first Star Trek experience. But you kind of alluded to it, sitting with your mom watching the original series. Anything else you want to add or expand on there?
I actually know normally you ask people about their Star Wars. So I'm going to answer that instead, because I answered my Star Trek.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's all good, man. It's all good, brother.
Star Wars is actually my third sci-fi series, I guess you could say, because Doctor Who and Star Trek were on TV. Star Wars, my parents took me to see, I don't even remember which one, in the theater when they were re-releasing it in the 80s. So one of the original trilogy ones, I think it's a special edition. I don't know. That's my first experience. And my third sci-fi anything I ever watched.
Okay.
From there, I found droids and Ewoks on television, the cartoons, and fell in love with those. I know some people don't like them, but I love them. I don't have it on right now, and it's upstairs, so I'm not going to go get it. But I like my home shirt, like what I.
Oh, I've seen the shirt, the Ewoks or the droids shirt.
Yeah, it's a burgundy shirt.
Burgundy. Yep. I've seen it.
I have it
awesome.
on. I have it on my socials. But that's my home shirt. That's what I wear at home, and so that is where my love of Star Wars came from. And eventually, before I was 10, I did get to see all 3 movies because of my parents, especially my dad. My dad was more into Star Wars than my mom, whereas my mom was, like I said, the TV shows. But yeah, I loved both. I loved both Trek and Wars, and also Doctor Who. So yeah, those were my like 3 big sci-fi fandoms throughout my entire life.
And I think one of the big misconceptions is that, you're either Star Wars or Star Trek. And we joke a lot about it on the show, but you can like both. They're different enough you can enjoy both. And I'm glad those are 2 of your 3, and I love Doctor Who as well. So
well, I mean, to me, both have different purposes and different feels to them, right? Like Star Trek is this, especially back then, like super bright sets, right? They're like clean hallways. A lot of stuff didn't really look lived in, and it's a bit of a utopian human civilization going into space and finding problems, then that to deal with, and that's and kind of like a metaphor for how to handle our things here. Whereas Star Wars is more like a lived-in, grimy universe, and I mean, also a metaphor, but in a different way, of an ongoing situation, and also a reminder of the past. Both have their significant commentaries on social stuff, but I mean, Star Wars is more, and has always been more, action oriented. And I mean, until the prequels, then you have the semicircles all the time still.
Yeah, no, like DB said, we joke around about it a lot, and you'll hear me make a lot of Star Trek comments that aren't so favorable. But ultimately, I do love all the movies. I do own all the movies. I watch them all the time. Wrath of Khan will always be my favorite. First Contact's one of my other favorites. Yeah.
No, and
yeah,
and I think how you describe Star Trek is spot on. In terms of, you're right. In terms of, it's always been about acceptance, and the diversity has always been built in, right from the original series. We've gone back and talked about, what's that one episode, DB, the 2 guys that are fighting, and one's half white, half black, and the other's the half
let that be your last battlefield.
Yeah. I mean, right from the get-go, even back in the 60s when they were first
that one was very in-your-face messaging.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very
much so.
Yeah, but it was just, and they had it was the first sci-fi with a multiracial cast, and I mean, it's just, and they've carried on that tradition for a long time. So yeah, definitely, I beautifully said, Michael, in terms of what it means to you. And yeah, Star Wars has always been more of I think he was going for a kind of a modern day mythology type of feel, in terms of creating that universe. And so, and yeah, I'm totally in with the guys. There's my mom was definitely more of a Trekkie. My dad was more Wars. So I'm right there with you. I totally get that in terms of watching one with one and one with the other. So, now, how did you find your calling with acting? What was because you were saying you were in pre-med, you were going to be a doctor, and then how did that kind of morph into?
That's quite a deviation.
Yeah, how'd that morph into acting?
Oh boy. So in university at the U of T, I had some friends who were in game development, and I used to like. By that point, I was also like into anime and the Matrix and all that stuff, and I was on message boards online, and I loved just imitating characters' voices, especially from Yu-Gi-Oh, and I liked recording myself on my computer and just making stupid voices and like making little skits and posting them on the message board, because we didn't really have social media as it was now, as it is now. Sorry, and so yeah, message boards was it. But because I was doing that, some of my friends were like, "Well, you do these stupid voices. Why don't you bring your stupid voices into our, student video game project?" I'm like, fine. I want to bring my stupid voices to your stupid video game. So, I recorded with them and really enjoyed the experience. And from there, I did a couple of those, but then I expanded what I was doing. Like while I was, if I had any free time, I just spend more and more time playing with my voice and with longer and longer skits. Like I did this whole Power Rangers WWE crossover 10-minute audio epic. It was horrible, by the way. I can't write.
Oh no. Where do we find this?
Yeah, where do we? I want to find this.
I don't even. No, I don't. No, that message board is long gone. I don't even remember the name. It was like a general anime one. I don't even know why I would put a WWE Power Rangers crossover on there, but I did.
Why not?
I love it. I think it's a great idea.
Is that your own holiday special? You keep it buried and don't let people listen to that?
Oh no, I have a personal copy. I'm just not gonna ever. It's not even on a computer. It's on a floppy. So
Oh, 5.5 inch. Yeah.
when a floppy was actually floppy, yeah.
Well, yeah, the harder ones, right? The
small,
not the B, the A drive ones. Still on a floppy. So, there's no getting my floppy disk.
Oh, I can do it.
You can hack my house and fun.
Oh well, okay, maybe not.
I don't even know where my I know roughly what box has all my old stuff from university. It's just somewhere in there on a floppy disk. But no, I did all of that stuff, like the Hulk mixed with Matrix, and it's just on and on. I did more and more stuff, and then I don't know, I started going, what do I do with this hobby of mine? Is there how do I expand this? And then I started going I had started going to conventions. I have been going to conventions called it's called Fan Expo now, but back then it's this Canadian National Exhibition, not to be confused with the X, which is on the exhibition grounds, but this is like the convention, the comic book convention. They had different anime and comics and sci-fi back then, and I was like, wait. They have voice actors from all the animes, the dubs of the animes and the cartoons I like. Why don't I just go sit in and listen to them talk? So I went to panels at the next convention, and I asked a few questions about how they got into it, and they always talk about training. So I started looking into that, and in my third, fourth year. I was already telling my parents, I'm starting to have doubts about my wanting to be a doctor, but I'm still going to get my bachelor's degree just because I understand practically, from a practical standpoint, it's not easy. Being an artist of any kind is not easy. Making money is not easy, and having a viable fallback, especially since from the sociology side, one of my professors because I took his course, actually 2 of his courses on the sociology of cultural business, meaning how different people of different cultural groups that immigrate to North America then do business with each other, within their community, but then how do they expand out of that as well, and all that. And he wanted me as part of his study if I ever decided to go for a master's and then continue from there and just be part of his team and publish papers. So I was like, okay, so I could do that. I could continue to be a doctor. There's many paths I could go. So, but by 4th year, I was pretty certain I wasn't going to be a doctor or anything. So my dad was like, okay, Michael, your mom and I are going to support you if you obviously if you finish your bachelor's degree, but also we want you to take your SAT, LSAT, MCAT, and get your real estate license, because my dad's a realtor. He wanted me to have something to make money on as well.
All right.
So I did all of that. I spent an entire year getting a real estate license and taking every test possible, getting offers to go to law school and med school, and turned everything down, except for the real estate license. My dad's like, okay, wow, you did everything, including the LSAT, which I didn't expect you, Michael, because lawyer is never something you wanted. So what do you want to do? I'm like, well, there's this film school at the CBC building. It's not cheap. I will pay, but I don't know if I can pay that much. And my dad's like, fine, we'll support you. We'll supplement a little. So I started training, and that's where I began. Admittedly, that was not exactly the best choice. Back then, I didn't know that wasn't the best option. But you know, that's a lot of actors' beginnings, where a lot of mistakes are made. Which is also why nowadays I teach a lot of new and younger actors stuff, to make sure they don't make my mistakes. But that's how it all started. Like, I went to school, graduated from school, and then just went and got more and more training, and I was already volunteering at school and getting myself into productions that were, because that school had other sections as well, like directing, producing, sound, blah blah blah. So I went to all of them, and I volunteered to act in any of the things they were making. I started auditioning like literally in my third month. By my halfway through the program, one of my teachers already brought me on the CBC Radio 1 to be interviewed as a rising star student. Yeah. And by the time I graduated, I had already been in like 5 short films. So,
Oh wow.
Oh.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's cool.
yeah.
Wow.
So one of the things you're currently working on, well, as much as you can talk about, Popularity Papers. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah.
It's something I do want to check out.
So Popularity Papers is a family series based on a book series by Amy Agneto, who's a best-selling author from the States. And the books are fantastic. They're aimed at young teens, tweens, and the whole thing is, I would call them graphic novels because they are all drawn, but she draws it all. And any text is also handwritten. Like, there's nothing, like the whole thing. Because the premise is, you have these 2 girls, they're going into middle school, like grade 7. And they start noticing, well, wow, there are these kids who are popular. And, like, people like them, and they have access to stuff. And, well, how do we become popular? Like, what's the secret to that? So to try to crack the code, and because they're both nerds, they use the scientific method and start something called the Popularity Papers, which is like a scientific journal, where they do experiments, social experiments, and try to like integrate into different groups and try to start, going and doing different extracurriculars or like helping a student with running their campaign for class president, and through this process, both of them start kind of learning about themselves, start expanding, their understanding of the world, but and finding things they love, but also realize that popularity is a myth. And that what really matters is to find who you are and then be yourself, and the people who are meant to be with you will fall in place. But so that's the books, and then they translated those books into a live action television show made by YTV, which is a Canadian network, family network, as well as BBC from the UK, where a ton of the money came from. So it's like a co-production between the UK and Canada. It is rare for shows these days to get more than like 15 episodes, but we got 26 half-hour episodes.
Oh, nice.
And a pretty high budget on every episode. So And they stuck to that format. And how it works is every single episode is a single popularity paper. So it's a single experiment. And by the, you have your setup, then they talk about how they're going to do the experiment. The things happen. Then at the end of the episode, they kind of get back together and draw conclusions from what has happened. And so I play Alex Chang. So the two girls, the main girls, are Julie and Lydia. Julie is an adopted Chinese girl, and Lydia is a Jewish girl. She has a mom. It's a single mother family. Her parents are divorced, and then she has a sister. And whereas Julie is an only child, but adopted by myself, Alex, and my husband James, who in the show is French Canadian. So the show itself actually takes place in Canada in a fake town, but close to Toronto. Yeah, and it's a great show. I think why the show works is because so many shows these days. Well, first of all, there are not that many shows that are aimed at that age group, the tween group. Yeah. And because over time they keep focusing on like the really young age or like old, like 16, 17-year-olds, like the middle ground is lost. And so we jumped into a place where we're filling a void. But also one of the things is kid stuff, it doesn't matter if it's older or younger, seems to treat children like they're dumb and they won't understand more complex issues unless they really beat it into your head, or they use like insane slapstick comedy things and just distract before any kind of message comes out. Or they go really slow. Our writers took the stance of children are smart, so we're going to pace our show like a regular adult sitcom, and we're going to have our characters speak normally, none of that heightened acting style. It's all grounded, all real. And on top of that, we're going to deal with issues that, hey, maybe some kids might not get it, but we want the episodes to really really stick in their heads, so that even if they don't get it now, at some point it's going to click. They'll remember it and go, hey, now I get it later in life, right? But the other thing is, adults generally don't like to watch a lot of kid shows because they're not made for adults, and they're either boring or really, really annoying. Especially with certain shows that are extremely sarcastic all the time, and I'm just going, you're teaching kids bad values. But I'm not going to name any of them. But
we wonder why kids are sarcastic and an attitude these days.
And also, adults are stupid. Kids are smart. Adults always screw up. Kids are going to solve everything, right? That's another trope. We don't do that. We make sure that our show is also watchable and enjoyable by adults. So we actually have our adult characters aren't just side characters. They exist, and they're not there to be stupid. I mean, yeah, okay, we have dumb moments, but so do the kids. We all screw up, and the joy and the amazing part is how we find a solution to all of these, and it's not some convoluted slapstick solution. It's a real emotional solution, and we are a comedy. It's really funny. It's just that we handle it like an actual sitcom, but targeted at kids, and that's why it works, and that's why we have actually a lot of adult fans as well, and a lot of adult viewers, because obviously some are watching with their children, but they fall in love with it too, so they rewatch it too, and then introduce it to other people who may not have kids, and they watch it like, whoa, this is a kid show, wow, okay. We started out as a Canadian show, and it aired in Canada, but we have since gotten quite a few deals to be distributed elsewhere. In the States, we're on Hulu, in the UK, Ireland, Italy, we are on Nickelodeon, and we're on Oku in France, ABC iView in Australia. We're also on all Emirates airplanes. I watched the whole thing on Emirates.
All right.
Next time I go to Dubai, I'll definitely.
Yes, absolutely. We happen to be going next weekend. We'll check that out.
Well, you know what? As a Hulu subscriber and the parent of a 13-year-old, we're going to check this out.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah. No, and I recognize what you're talking about. With a lot of other shows today, it's everything's got to be edgy, or it's got to be sarcastic, or if it's overly sarcastic, or like you said, every parents are dumb, and too many tropes. And it's nice to find just a good wholesome show. It's kind of sad nowadays that when you find a good wholesome show, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air compared to a lot of what's out there in the sitcom market or the drama market or anything like that. And so no, that's cool. And I was going to say, it sounds like you've got really good writers on
Incredible
board.
writers.
Yeah, and the concept, the scientific theory concept, that's a cool. My inner nerd is like, damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right?
Yeah, and we do actually. Our writers are nerds. We have like Wars and Trek nerds also on crew. So a lot, and I'm in Trek. So like they threw so many nerdy sci-fi references all over the place. I mean, there's an entire episode about cosplay. Like it's amazing.
Okay, I gotta check this out.
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's very cool. Wow. Scruff, did you want to kind of go down the podcast?
Yeah.
And
So, funny thing, Brown Leader and I were talking about this show here a few days ago, and we were talking about some of your other projects, and he brought up a project called the Hellbound Podcast. And I had discovered you last early spring sometime, and in listening to some of your podcasts, I discovered Cocaine Bear. I saw the preview. I never wanted to watch it because I'm like, that just looks stupid. Michael Chan says it's a masterpiece, so I've got to check it out now. So, Cocaine Bear, the masterpiece.
Did you like it?
I loved it, actually. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was awesome. I enjoyed it for what it was. It had some great funny sides to it. A little dark. Yeah. Well, okay, extremely dark. But,
very.
It was awesome.
It's rare that a movie they go into this trying to make a bad movie, because when people try to make something so bad it's good, it usually fails. It was one of those cases where, oh my god, you guys actually went in making a bad movie so bad that it's good. I'm in shock. You did okay, it worked.
It absolutely worked. And like I said, when I first saw the previews for it, I'm like, no, that is 2 hours of my life I'm never going to get back. I'm not doing it. And then I was just sitting down here after one of our shows one night, and I started scrolling through some podcasts because we were looking up somebody else's stuff. And I'm like, Hellbound Podcast? What's this? Oh, Cocaine Bear. I got to hear this. So thank you for introducing me to Cocaine Bear.
You're very welcome. I'm glad Hellbound actually encouraged someone to watch something. That's good.
So some of my favorites. I love horror movies too. Besides Star Wars, Star Trek, and sci-fi in general. What were some of your favorites? I mean, I love The Exorcist, Halloween. I love those '80s cheesy movies, The Blob, stuff like that.
So So my introduction to horror actually is a little different than most North Americans, only because my parents are also the ones who introduced me to horror, but not North American horror, Hong Kong/Chinese horror. So my parents watched a lot of Chinese hopping vampire or gengxi, they're called, movies, which are basically undead beings that wear magistrates' robes, and they hop around and suck out your soul. And depending on which film you're talking about, some of them can transform you into one, and some of them just outright kill you. They're very hard to defeat, and often somehow, somewhere, a monk will show up and use a piece of talisman paper with special prayers written on it to stick on their forehead to stop them, that's when you then try to find a way to kill it while it's immobilized. That was my like introduction to horror, and
That sounds epically awesome.
They are, but I was terrified of them. I was so scared of freaking hopping vampires. And then my parents started showing me more like Chinese movies based on different things like hungry ghosts from Chinese lore. You know, they cling on to you and they suck the life out of you. Eventually, like North American or European vampires, but like done in the Chinese way, and just more and more of this stuff. And it wasn't until I was a lot older, like I think like 17, 18, did I actually start watching any real North American horror. But my actual like full introduction to it was Dawn of the Dead, not the original, the remake.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it. I was blown away. I was like, what is this? Like, and it was because a friend of mine had nobody to go watch it. Like in university, she had no one to go with, and she's like, well, do you want to see this? I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I'll come with you since nobody wants to come with you. And I was just sitting there like, what? So I needed more of that. So yeah, zombies became my thing, and then from there I expanded and expanded and expanded. Like I didn't watch Alien until I was in my 20s. A lot of people are always shocked when I tell them that. I'm like, no, like you don't understand my upbringing. But so yeah, like sci-fi horror, like Alien and Predator and all that. But also like, well, I didn't watch Exorcist until I was 26. But nowadays, like my favorite stuff are almost anything zombie. I also like Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat's amazing. I love the entirety of the Scream series, and my first time I watched Scream was, oh my god, I was 28, and I was like, why did I miss all of this? What is it? Oh my god, no, go back. I have to watch it from the start. So yeah, it's expanded a lot from there, and yeah, now I watch everything and anything I get my hands on. The latest movie I watched was The Substance. Oh my god, I have
not seen it yet.
I will be talking about it on my I have a new podcast coming, but it's such a good movie. Demi Moore. This movie is a horror movie, but deserves to be Oscar nominated. I don't know why Oscars take certain genres seriously, but Demi Moore puts on, I would argue, one of the best performances of her entire freaking career, and it's a horror film, and it's so good. It's like shades of Cronenberg, but also just the social commentary on things like misogyny and Hollywood's and the society's view of what women should look like, what women's place is, and all this stuff mixed into this body horror tour de force performance is just mind blowing. So yeah, you need to watch it.
Yeah, I definitely need to check it out, Bad. Jeremiah Long. I've been hearing a lot of great things about The Substance. So yeah, it's definitely something I want to get to real soon. So yeah, my mother introduced me to my brother introduced me to sci-fi too. She was a Star Wars fan, and we saw Return of the Jedi in the theater probably about 20 times. And she also introduced me. It was my introduction to horror too. Stephen King, John Saul, all those horror writers for sure. Unboxing. I still have to watch Cocaine Bear. You got to check it out, man. It is an awesome show.
It's just. And don't take it too seriously. That's the thing. Some people take it so seriously. I'm like, no. Shut your brain off.
There you go. Shut your brain off.
Watch. Oh my god, just enjoy your time. It's like those like Fast and Furious movies. I always tell people like, stop it. Just go in and have fun. You don't have to watch it like 16 times. Just go in, watch it once, and have the ride of your freaking life.
Absolutely.
It's like a 4 out of 10 movie, okay? Every single one of those Fast and Furious movies, but I love them.
Brown 39 in the chat. Welcome, David.
Hey, David.
David Jones. Welcome. Let's see. I saw Empire Strikes Back in the theater at 6 years old, and then later that year, my dad showed my introduction to horror was Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, and I stayed away from horror until I was
Last
well in,
week.
yeah, pretty much.
Way longer than you care to admit on.
Well,
in public
when
here.
my youngest daughter started getting, she really wanted to watch horror movies, so we started like on the PG-13 stuff. So that was safe for me, and I was able to ease my way back into it.
I'm still trying to find this movie that truly scares me.
Yeah, I was not really much of a horror fan growing up, just because
The Conjuring. Does that not scare you?
I loved it. It was awesome.
That's a good movie.
Creeped me out a little bit, but certainly nothing that scared me. Now, I do hear that there is a significant difference between a horror movie, American-made horror movie, and some of that stuff you were talking about. They're just too brutally different in terms of how scary they can be.
Yes.
Is that true?
I find like Asian horror to be willing to be so dark as to, it's not like American movies don't get dark, right? Like they get really dark, but I find Asian horror, they have a way of twisting your emotions to the point where you are actually legitimately worried that this is going to happen to you.
There we go. That's what I need to see.
Well, you described the vampires as, they come in, they suck out your soul. And the whole time you were talking like that, I'm thinking, oh, just hit me in the face with an axe. I'd rather have that than have somebody suck out my soul. That's pretty permanent.
Yeah. No, and that's how they gain strength too. That's why they do it, right? Like, and the more souls they eat, the stronger they get. They start by hopping, but eventually they can fly.
Oh, nice. Just what you need. Yeah, just what you need. Jeremiah, they introduced they made me watch Friday the 13th at the house where they lived in Crystal Lake, and he was 6 years old. That'll do it, bro. That'll do it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love The Shining.
Yeah, The Shining. Yeah, The Shining was one of my favorites too. Of course, typical. I love the book more. The book was.
I have to agree with that.
Much more frightening.
Jack
for sure.
Nicholson, you already like. I love the movie. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, dude, the guy already looks crazy.
Mm-hmm, exactly. I don't think anybody could have played that role better than Jack Nicholson.
The way it was made, yes. I'm just saying, if they were faithful to the book, that would be a different story.
Oh, absolutely. It would be a much different story. Yeah. Alien Romulus. Yes, I did. I thought it was pretty good. I liked it.
I liked it. My only complaint is bringing back dead actors with CG. I'm very over that. Like, for the love of God, you have other, androidy people with real actors that are still alive you could have used, but no, you just have to go bring back someone dead for the shock value. Like, come on. But other than that, the movie's great.
Yeah, and it was one of the things I shut my brain off. I went into it with a little lower expectation, and I genuinely did enjoy it. Yeah,
that's funny. Tying this back to using CGI and stuff to bring back dead characters, that I got to say, one thing that we always compliment Star Trek on the show is that Star Trek was not afraid to cross the line that the wars still is afraid to, which is recasting. And you saw quite a bit of that in Discovery and Strange New Worlds and some other shows, and there's been 3 or 4 Spocks now, or actors that have played Spock, and I kudos to that. Kudos to the franchise. They crossed that line. They weren't afraid to do it. They did it, and we're not in the fandom as deep over there, but I gotta imagine it seems to be more accepted than I know. Anytime the topic gets brought up on the wars side of things, it's people get real uptight real fast.
Solo.
Yeah.
Solo.
I like Solo. I thought
Solo was awesome.
It's the movie that nobody asked for, that really didn't feel like Star Wars, that kind of was messy and was really good if you ignored the Star Wars part of it. It's a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh, he enjoyed it. We'll let go. Quick question from D-Man. Where do you put the OG Halloween 2 in horror history?
The trash. Oh, it wasn't to me. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, nobody asked you. What do you think, Michael?
Oh man, I mean, there's so many classics now that if we were going to have to go into sequels, it's hard. I mean, I can't put it in my top 10. I can't. So it's there.
It's just there.
It's there.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty good, but
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying we're at a point where it's just so much good horror, just like there's so much good sci-fi, so much good everything, right? Like even some of the what you would call a classic. I mean, Halloween is a classic. Halloween 2, I personally don't think it's as good as Halloween 1, so Halloween 1 is up there.
oh, definitely not. Barry, I'm 53 years old, so those were some of the horror movies I was introduced. I was how I introduced to horror, and I love the sequel. Halloween 3, on the other hand, not so much. But I mean, it was. If you'd have named it something else, I would have loved it. But the fact that you tried to put it in between 3 and 4 just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So Hellbound, you guys that show came to an end, and you had mentioned that you have a new one coming out. Is that anything you want?
Right. So I mean, as you know, Hellbound was we had 2 hosts, right? Myself and Alex Blackburn, who's an incredible filmmaker and festival runner over in the UK. But his schedule is just really, really busy these days. He has an incredible amount of projects, including some documentaries he's working on and commercials. So it's just and the time difference. So in the end, we just figured, you know what, we should probably end it. Our hiatus was over a year, so let's just end it. So now I am going to go solo and start my own horror podcast in the same vein. It's almost a continuation of Hellbound, but mine is going to be called Heard Noise Must Investigate.
I love it already.
Thank you. There are a whole bunch of things that people do in horror that I find hilarious and dumb, and I was trying to find. I basically went through a whole bunch of names, workshopped it with a bunch of friends. I'm like, yeah, this is the one. So yeah, look out. Like I'm still working on getting all this, like all the online stuff set up. I already have the first episode recorded, working on my second one already. It's going to be, like I said, it's the same thing, reviewing movies, television, but also like talking about everything horror, including like toys and clothing and video games and board games, whatever, anything. If there's something out there that's horror, I'm going to find it and I'm going to talk about it.
So real quick, speaking of video games, so if you're a zombie fan, video games, did you enjoy the Dead Island series?
I actually I admit I didn't play that series as much. I played Left 4 Dead.
I loved Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead was a riot too.
Like I played a lot of that. I'm more into the Diablo series, mind you. Like that is where most of my time is sunk into. But yeah, like Dead Island's good. I played what? Oh my god, it's been so long. What's it called? The one where you're a reporter and you're stuck in a mall.
I know which one you're talking. I know which one you're talking about.
I played the first one. It was so good, but I haven't gone back. But no, Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead, of all the zombie video games I've ever played, that's the one.
I loved Left 4 Dead. I got countless hours into that.
Yeah, and the second most hours was in The Last of Us, the first one.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Sorry, I got sidetracked there.
Which is an amazing TV show as well.
I need to see that for sure. I don't have the HBO, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think so I don't have the HBO series yet.
So I wanted to transition over to a little bit now that we've scared ourselves to death for the rest of the night.
Not even close.
No, so one of the things that I love about your social media presence, Michael, is we are a little bit of a kinfolk in the fact that we love our dad jokes and puns, and so you
do.
have a very good, very strong online presence with your daily videos and stuff, and I absolutely love them.
Thank you.
And I wanted to bring one up really quick, and it's not a dad joke, but it is Star Wars related, and you can kind of use it as a transition
And it's
point.
within my humor. So.
Yeah, exactly. But it was. Let me bring that up here real quick. So we're going to go over to your Instagram page. Everybody can find. You can find Michael, and he'll plug all his socials towards the end of the show. But on his Instagram page,
Welcome to Affirmations with Master Chimmy Chan Ga. Repeat after me. I am not my metachlorian count. My metachlorian count has no bearing on my self-worth. Just because that Skywalker kid has more metachlorians than me, and everyone is talking about him, and he's kind of a jerk, doesn't make me less valuable as a Jedi or a person. I am worthy. Thank you for joining me today. May the Force be with you.
Oh my.
Absolutely love them. Starting out every morning with that.
Yes.
Standing there in the bathroom after I brush my teeth. I am worth more than my midichlorian count.
Absolutely love it. So, what? How long have you been doing like this on social media? All these little videoettes and everything. Because I know this goes right back to what you were telling us about what you loved doing when you first got into the voiceovers and the videoing yourself and I am going to hire somebody to find the Power Rangers and WWE crossover, but
Oh no. It's going to be 10 minutes of your life you can't get back.
Oh, we wasted far more time on far worse things. So trust me, it can't be that bad.
I spent 2 hours watching Turkish Star Wars. I'm good.
Oh my god.
Are you familiar with Turkish Star Wars, Michael?
No.
You don't want
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Excellent.
Jeremiah, thank you. Dead Rising. That was the.
Oh yes, Dead Rising. Yes, yes, that's it.
But yeah, the social. What? How long have you been doing all the little videoettes and everything?
Well, the video. Okay, so there's two. I think my social media. Like I've been on Instagram since like year one of its existence, and before the pandemic, I didn't have a lot of videos like at all. All of my jokes. I did puns with my action figures a lot. Like I would have two action. I had let's see here. Yeah, there he is. Meet the pun issuer. So I used to basically have him in another action figure, and I would have him make terrible puns at them, and they would get very mad at my Punisher. I had other Punisher toys as well, but this is the latest one. But I haven't actually used them for a while. So because I transitioned to TikTok. So when the pandemic happened, and I was at home, and my industry was shut down, and I needed a creative outlet, and the first thing I actually tried was not TikTok. The first thing, and it wasn't making videos either. It was Twitch. But I didn't game on there. See, I didn't really know how to use Twitch, and I discovered that I could connect my my webcam to it like everybody else, and I thought, hey, why don't I just do stupid stuff on Twitch? So what I ended up doing is every day I would sit there and talk about what that day looked like during the pandemic, and then I would review one item of food that I had in my house, and I would eat it on air. I did that for like months, just like every day. Like I went through probably like like there are like 8 granola bar for like Reese's granola bars reviews, unboxing. So I did that, but like I had barely any viewers, and eventually I'm like, this is getting stupid. What am I doing? So I started like kind of making videos to put on Instagram, but I really didn't know what I was doing. I also did I did do a series of videos where because of the 2020 election and how messed up it was, I started and I was just like out of my mind. So I had cereal that I would pour, like I would have a video of me sitting down, turning on the TV, and then so you can hear it in the background, and I would be reacting to it by pouring cereal into a bowl, and it would be a different cereal every time. And then instead of milk, I would then pour some kind of alcohol in the bowl, and then I would actually eat it.
So
I did that for a while.
Just a quick question. What does Bacardi go with?
Nothing. There was never a cereal and alcohol mix that I did that actually tasted good. And I used every ounce of my acting ability not to actually show that I was disgusted, because I was playing a character that was depressed with the state of the world, the pandemic, and the 2020 election, and how Trump wouldn't concede. But anyway,
where do I find this at?
I'm pretty sure they're still on my Instagram. Also, my TikTok has some of them, and today my story I posted is like on this day. So one of my Biden ones was on there. I think it's the Cocoa Puffs. Oh no, Count Chocula one. I didn't know. I don't, because I don't think we have Cocoa Puffs here. We have Count Chocolate, and that was a special edition that time. I wish I did Cocoa Puffs though. But yeah, no, that's kind of where I started, and then a lot of people started telling me about this thing called TikTok, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. And so they show me. I'm like, so it's for kids? They're like, no, man, there's awesome. There's a lot of people like our age on here. I'm like, oh, okay, so then I once the industry came back up, I also started making random videos. Like I had no theme, no nothing, until I saw a dance trend. I still don't know what it's called, but there's a song, and people just like shook their hips and then transitioned to another position, and I was like getting really, really, really insane. So I borrowed my wife's Sailor Moon outfit.
Oh boy.
And so I, like, and in this video, you're supposed to start in one outfit, and then when you jump up and land and start to dance, you like switch into a different outfit. I transformed into Sailor Moon, and I did the dance. And then for the second half of the dance, I pulled out the shake weight that I have.
Oh, okay. I know what I'm doing for the rest of the night.
Oh, boy.
I gained my first 5,000 followers that way.
That is epic.
And that is more followers than I ever, at that point in my life, that I had ever gotten in any platform. So I was like, oh no, do I have to keep doing this crap? So I started borrowing more costumes and doing other videos and transitions of me transforming into different, like I was Harley Quinn at one point, but I would never do like my hair. This is still my hair. So like I'll be in outfits, and yeah,
Great.
It's always the wait, where is it?
Okay, you guys, I'm gonna say for the record right now, I am not going to be doing that to get us 5,000 followers.
I didn't tell you what I booked for the December 12th episode. Oh, just kidding.
Yo.
That's why it happened. But anyways,
and the fact that you had it right there too, that's epic.
yes, that's right. Fully accessible for my studio. But yes, so that's where I started, and I did a whole bunch. Then realized, oh my god, I have to buy costumes. So I did buy a few. Then realized this is expensive, and my income stream was pretty low at that point to nil. So I was like, so what do I do? And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell a dad joke. And that first dad joke I told like got me several hundred views, and then it just kept going up. So I did more dad jokes, and eventually, you know, I got over 10,000 followers just from that. I'm like, oh, thank God I transitioned, and that I didn't have to keep doing the cross dressing. Not that I, you know, like, I am queer, and there are times that I've worn more, you know, non-gender conforming clothing in real life, right? But those costumes are kind of outside of what I normally would wear, and is expensive to keep buying more of that. I literally bought a woman's Pikachu like one piece bathing suit thingy with ears, and I danced with that, and it's still there on TikTok. Oh god.
Oh, I can't. Okay, Brown 2 signing off. I gotta get TikTok.
But yeah, no. I from there I did the dad jokes a lot, but I also, you know, one of my things has always been this: no matter what I do online, I have to enjoy it. Yeah. That is a rule for me.
Yeah,
and
right
it's
on.
one that, like, even when I have a social media contract with the producers, and I don't care how small my character is, I will warn them. I'm like, whatever you give me to post, just understand that I won't do it unless it's fun. So I gave you permission to go through the entirety of my social media. You know what I do for every show I'm on. And none of them have had a problem with me. So I'm not going to break any rules or make you look bad, but just trust me, I will promote the heck out of your show.
That's awesome.
But that's what I do. And that's how I like my TikTok has grown in terms of its content. Like I went from dad jokes to dad jokes, along with doing acting challenges, because I found some of those on there. So I would duet people and do their acting challenges, and that was fun for me. And I made some of my own acting challenges. I started making skits. And then when my Star Trek episodes came out, I started, you know, cosplaying more in Star Trek uniforms and joking about the franchise and myself, my own character. But yeah, it's just kept growing and growing. And, you know, my cosplaying, like the full cosplaying side of me, though, didn't really come out in full until like last year, only because a lot of people don't know this, but there was a time when cosplay was really looked down on. And in my industry, if you tell people you cosplayed, they will dismiss you as an actor. So nobody knew I cosplayed when I was starting out 18 years ago. Nobody knew. And I hit it. I hit it really, really well. I even cosplayed under a completely different name. Like I wasn't Michael Chan when I cosplayed. So it wasn't until last year that, you know, I realized, wait a minute, it's so big now. What am I doing? Why am I not showing off what I can do?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
so that's like, now I have like my Gambit cosplays. I'm glad that we have filters, because I don't want to keep putting on a ball cap to be Professor X, you know.
Right.
So yeah, no, now I do all of that too. And my TikTok is just very varied. Mind you, the dad jokes are always going to be here, always, because that's my bread and butter.
Yeah, it's crazy. I truly appreciate that, you know, cosplay is now definitely much more accepted. I mean, we've talked to, you know, Chris Bartlett, who has, you know, played 20 different droids and aliens in Star Wars live action, and he got into Star Wars through cosplay. You know, his C-3PO he got attention from Lucasfilm, you know, and that's how he got into Star Wars. And Paul loves his cosplay, you know, Paul Sun Young Lee. You know, and I mean, so many people. I'm so happy that it's much more of an accepted thing nowadays, for sure. Because it's just, why not? It's just like you said. It goes back to the core word of just gotta have fun. Just gotta have fun with it all. Right on. Right on. All right. I'm sure we could keep going all night. And but
no, I'm eager to go to TikTok.
So we'll start to wrap this up a little bit, but it's Mike, it's been great great to talk to you, and we definitely want to have you on again. There's definitely a lot more we want to talk about. Definitely want to talk about your experience on Kids in the Hall and just all sorts of other stuff, because it's you've got quite you referred to your resume or your background, your bio, and I've looked through your bio, and it's super impressive. And now I'm definitely going to look up popularity papers as well, because that just sounds like a fun show. It just sounds like a great wholesome show. So we really appreciate you having you on and sharing all that with us. And guys, let's transition into collection corner really quick, and we'll start to move through that. And then Mike, if there's anything else that you want to we can touch on after collection corner, and we'll just we'll go from there. Where is my?
You want me just to sing?
I want it all.
But not a YouTube strike. So we're gonna go with that. And Scruffy, yesterday was Comic Book Wednesday.
Yes, yesterday was Comic Book Wednesday. I ordered a couple extra issues of number 1 Ewoks, because I understand that you don't have those, and so you need to finish the collection. So yeah, you guys got each got a issue 1 of Ewoks coming.
That was a cool cover, I will say.
It was an epic. If you don't even read it, just frame it and put it on the wall,
just
man.
frame it.
It's Murder Bears.
It is Murder Bears personified. So
Absolutely.
definitely gotta love that. What else?
And this came. I ordered it last week when we were on with
with Chris.
With Chris, and there it is, the Star Wars bestiary.
Yep.
So it's it is all just hand drawings and descriptions of all the beasts in Star Wars. This is volume 1, so I'm assuming I got to go buy volume 2 now someday.
I'm assuming the Porgs page is earmarked already.
You know what? I literally just opened it 5 minutes before we did the show. So, DB, what do you got? And I'll see if I can find a Sporgs.
I'm not going to turn around and grab it, but I picked up one of my grails that I've been trying to get at the cons we go to. I got an original Kenner Star Destroyer playset.
No way.
Not the little die-cast thing. I'm talking the big thing, you put the act figures in, and it's been on my hit list for a while, and I found one for a reasonable price on the ICCC website or Facebook page, and I picked one up, but it's over on the other side of the room. I'm not going to go grab it and bring it over here right now, but I'm proud that I finally got that.
Yeah, you've been looking for that for quite some time.
Quite a while.
Quite some time.
Yes, you have.
That's awesome. Mike, is there anything, Michael, is there anything that you other than shake weights, is there anything that you collect?
Well, I wanted to show you guys what I had for over a decade.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so Boba Fett Christmas lights.
That's
they're
awesome.
actually they're always on my shelf where my shake weight is. The shake weight. But also this is my lightsaber that I got off of Amazon. I didn't try it. So yeah.
That's okay. That's cool.
That is cool. Okay, so yes, here's Porgs.
Nice.
Oh
yes.
Nice.
Cannot wait to check this out.
The only yeah, I've got stuff on order. Hopefully it'll be here by next week when we have Carbonites on. But I did pick up an item 2 that I've been looking for, which is the R5 Pop.
Yes.
So I'm a collector of R5s thanks to these guys. I wasn't much of a collector before I started this show with these guys, and they have corrupted me over time.
We're slowly turning them into one of us.
But I did get that from Icy Toys as well. So they were doing a clearance on their pops, and in their picture, I just happened to notice an R5, and it's in mint condition, which is really nice. And it was like $15 and change with shipping. So for that price, I'm not going to say no. So right, and then that's all I have for this week. But Michael, we didn't talk much about Star Wars, but have you been keeping up on kind of the current stuff? And do you watch any of the current stuff, or are you just more?
I'm caught up on Mandalorian, and I did watch Andor. I working my way through Acolyte. I love Ahsoka, and I am excited for Skeleton Crew.
Right on. Yeah, I think Skeleton Crew is just gonna. I think that's really gonna. I think it's going to be something. I think it's going to be more than we expect, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It looks good. It looks so freaking good,
doesn't it? The cinematography on it, or it just looks beautiful on the screen. It looks cinematic, which some of the shows sometimes suffer from. But it's definitely looking forward to it. Oh yeah, there's Ewoks number 1.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah, that cover is just awesome.
Very, very cool. So before we completely wrap up, Michael, where can everybody find you online? And
I am on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, YouTube. Basically, my username everywhere is Michael CW Chan. So it's my name, but because my middle name is Chihuahua, so it's CW. So Michael CW Chan. There are a lot of Michael Chans. I'm the 11th one on IMDb. But if you do try to look at IMDb and you can't really find me for some reason, I mean, you should be able to find me, but it's like, XI Michael Chan 11.
That's like an email address. Yeah.
The most famous Michael Chan had to add his middle name, Michael Paul Chan, to his name because there's too many of us. But I still haven't added anything. I'm still the Michael Chan right now, whereas he's now Michael Paul Chan, and he's super famous and awesome. And there is a stuntman in Toronto named Michael Chan, and our credits get mixed sometimes, so the two of us keep having to go on IMDb and remove each other and add each other back. It's ridiculous. I'm also part of a Michael Chan Facebook group, and there is another Michael Chan with my exact birth date in the year, which is nuts.
Oh, that's crazy.
But yeah, I am at Michael CW Chan on pretty much everything.
Yeah, and thankfully you use pretty much the same picture for most of your socials and everything. So I'm able to hone in on which one. So,
but if you want my website, is michaelchan.ca.
Michaelchan.ca. There you go, guys.
It took me 11 years to get that URL. I used to be michaelcwchan.ca until the guy who owned michaelchan.ca just let it expire.
Yeah.
It's mine.
Right.
I know.
You stayed on it for 11 years and finally got it. That's awesome. Well, that's awesome. Well, Michael, it's like I said, it's great having you on, and you're invited, open invitation anytime you want to come back, especially when you get that podcast up and running. Yeah, definitely. Let's have you back on and get that plug that for you and talk to
Disney. Come on, get me on Star Wars, guys. I'm good at sci-fi, and I can make you guys look good on social media.
There you go.
The shake weight that I can use as a lightsaber.
Oh yes, there we go.
And that sweater alone sells it, Michael.
Yes,
that shirt is awesome.
Yeah. Instead of a button, you have to shake the lightsaber to activate it.
Oh yeah. That's why it makes the sound.
That's awesome. Oh my god, that's hilarious. All right, so guys, last segment. You got the. Are you ready, Scruff?
Nope. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, go ahead and pop it up. Dad joke of the week. Time to annoy Scruffy and DB. Dead, 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 dead joke of the week,
So, just quick, Michael Chan, he wrote that and recorded that on his way home from work one night.
Sweet.
He says he didn't, but I hear a car horn in the back.
I practiced it on the way home. I punched out, was walking out to my car, getting in it, and I'm like, I got to do something. And because we had just gotten this book, Dad Joke, Star Wars Dad Jokes, courtesy of Kelly Knox's book.
Nice.
And I was practicing it, and I did get my voice recorder on the phone going while I was on the way home. But no, I think we had an hour before airtime, and I recorded it in about 20. And
20 seconds.
But now I realize I'm going to have to wear a Sailor Moon outfit or something in order to up the.
Yes.
To up the
Or a Leia.
or Leia. There you go.
Slave Leia.
I
Leia.
will buy that costume if you wear it.
All right. Star Wars Dad Joke of the Week. Did you know the Death Star has ears? It's true. Engine ears.
Oh.
That was Dad Joke of the Week Now don't you feel absolutely complete?
No.
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 No. Scruffy, you need to play the Wheaton sound bit.
Oh, yeah.
Shut up, Wesley.
Oh, my word. Did you take it off here?
No, it's on there.
Kind of lost the moment now.
Yeah, I lost
Yeah,
it.
you lost the moment.
Never mind.
So,
All right,
yeah.
Long and suck it.
There it is.
All right.
Yes.
So Michael, thanks for being on the show. Before we sign off, all of our guests that come on the show become honorary members of Brown Squadron, and with that, you get a flight designation and a call sign. And we base all of our call signs in the Star Wars universe, something relating to what you do either in real life or something related to you somehow. Dug through Wikipedia, and came up with you are. Help if I would have my talking about losing the moment. So Brown 70 and the call sign of Thite, and where that comes from is Daryl Thite, who is a character in Legends, I believe in the comics, and he is a New Republic New Republic operations officer, ops officer.
Ooh.
So that's the tie-in that I found. And in Legends, he was a X-wing pilot during the rebellion and post-rebellion until he was in an accident, had his arm sheared off, and he got a cybernetic arm, and then he got assigned to the a Corellian Corvette, one of the coolest ships in Star Wars, in my opinion. What was it called? The Far Star, where they tracked down Moffs and hunted them in the New Republic era. So yeah, Brown 70 Thite. Welcome to the crew, Michael.
Thank you very much. As the ladies and some men say, Thite is tight.
Oh,
Nice.
that's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, so everybody check out Michael Chan, Michael CW Chan, whichever it is on socials. michaelchan.ca. Carbonites, stay awesome, Michael. Nice to meet you, Brown 70. Great episode, fellows. Good night. Speaking of Carbonites, they are going to be our guest next Wednesday for a special Wednesday episode, since next Thursday is Thanksgiving down here in the States. So I will be sleeping from all the tryptophan on Thursday and not recording. So we're going to do a special Wednesday episode with Carbonites, and they make things. Vincent makes his own collectibles, and we're going to be talking as we get into the holiday season. Thought it would be a good topic to jump into, and then later in December we have a cool show coming up. Going to be talking about Star Wars Visions from somebody that works inside the Star Wars Visions sphere of things. So that's going to be a fun episode as well. But yeah,
and we also have one other episode coming up. We are going to talk Turkish Star Wars with Brown Leader, because he finally watched it and it needs a review.
no, that's going to be during the Christmas break. So
Nope,
you
no.
guys have fun with that.
Oh no, you're there.
But yeah, Michael, thanks for coming on the show again. So we do a thing once I do the final sign off. We all I'll do the final sign off to the show, and you're welcome to jump in with us if you want. But we close with, instead of "May the Force be with you," we close with "That's No Moon." So you're welcome to join us when we get to that point. But thank you for watching. Thanks for everybody that jumped in the chat tonight. And thanks again, Michael, for coming on the show. And everybody check him out, michaelchan.ca, to find everything, and then jump on his socials for
everything.
For everything. And I'm going to find that Power Rangers and WWE crossover. So,
oh my God.
Yes.
So, all right, this is Brown Leader signing off for the crew, and you have been listening and watching Hyperspace Heroes. That's no moon. And there we go.
Was it good for you?